having been tricked by the inhabitants of Gabaon into swearing an oath to them of peace, because they consulted not Yahweh their God. They spared their lives, but Yehoshua made them hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of Yahweh to this day, in the place which he should choose. Yehoshua chapter 10. Now it was when Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard how Yehoshua had taken the Rai and had devoted it, as he had done to Jericho and her king, so he had done to the Rai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gabaon had made peace with Israel, and were among them, that they feared greatly, because Gabaon was a great big city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than the Rai, and all the men thereof were mighty. For what reason Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoham, king of Hebron, and to Param, king of Yerimuth, and to Yafi, king of Lachish, and to Debir, king of Agalon, saying, Come up to me, and help me, and let us smite Gabaon, for it hath made peace with Yehoshua, and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorri, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Yerimuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Agalon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped against Gabaon, and made war against it. And the men of Gabaon sent to Yehoshua to the camp, to the Gilgal, saying, Slack not thy hand from thy servants. Come up to us quickly, and save us, and help us. For all the kings of the Amorri that dwell in the hill country are gathered together against us. So Yehoshua went up from the Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And Yahweh said to Yehoshua, Fear them not, for I have delivered them into thy hands. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. Yehoshua therefore came upon them suddenly, for he went up from the Gilgal all the night. And Yahweh discomfited them before Israel, and he slew them with a great slaughter at Gabaon, and chased them by the way of the ascent of Beth Horon, and smote them to Azekah and to Makkedah. And it was as they fled from before Israel, while they were at the descent of Beth Horon, that Yahweh cast down great stones from the skies upon them to Azekah, and they died. They were more who died with the hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Then spoke Yehoshua to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh delivered up the Amorri before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gabaon, and thou, moon, in the valley of Ayalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the nation had avenged themselves of their enemies. Is not this written upon the book of the upright one? And the sun stayed in the midst of the skies, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that Yahweh hearkened to the voice of a man. for Yahweh fought for Yisrael. And Yehoshua returned, and all Yisrael with him, to the camp, to the Gilgal. And these 5 kings fled, and hid themselves in the cave at Makkedah. And it was told Yehoshua, saying, The 5 kings are found, hidden in the cave at Makkedah. And Yehoshua said, Roll great stones to the mouth of the cave, and set men by it to keep them. But stay not ye, pursue after your enemies, and smite the hindmost of them. Give them not to enter into their cities, for Yahweh your God hath delivered them into your hand. And it was, when Yehoshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter, till they were consumed, and the remnant which remained of them had entered into the fortified cities, that all the people returned to the camp to Yehoshua at Makkedah in peace. None pointed his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Then said Yehoshua, Open the mouth of the cave, and bring forth those 5 kings to me out of the cave. And they did so, and brought forth those 5 kings to him out of the cave. The king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Yerimut, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon. And it was, when they brought forth those kings to Yehoshua, that Yehoshua called for all the men of Israel, and said to the chiefs of the men of war that went with him, Come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near, and put their feet upon the necks of them. And Yehoshua said to them, Fear not, nor be dismayed. Be strong, and of good courage, for thus shall Yahweh do to all your enemies against whom ye fight. And afterward Yehoshua smote them, and put them to death, and hanged them on 5 trees, and they were hanging upon the trees until the evening. And it was at the time of the going down of the sun that Yehoshua commanded, and they took them down off the trees, and cast them into the cave wherein they had hidden themselves, and laid great stones on the mouth of the cave to this very day. And Yehoshua took Makkedah on that day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof. He devoted them, and all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining. And he did to the king of Makkedah as he had done to the king of Jericho. And Yehoshua passed from Makkedah, and all Israel with him, to Libnah, and fought against Libnah. And Yahweh delivered it also, and the king thereof, into the hand of Israel. And he smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining in it. And he did to the king thereof as he had done to the king of Jericho. And Yehoshua passed from Libnah, and all Israel with him, to Lachish, and encamped against it, and fought against it. And Yahweh delivered Lachish into the hand of Israel, and he took it on the 2nd day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein, according to all that he had done to Libnah. Then Horam, king of Gazer, came up to help Lachish, And Yehoshua smote him and his people until he had left him none remaining. And Yehoshua passed from Lachish and all Israel with him to Eglon, and they encamped against it and fought against it. And they took it on that day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein he devoted that day, according to all that he had done to Lachish. And Yehoshua went up from Eglon, and all Israel with him, to Hebron, and they fought against it. And they took it, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining, according to all that he had done to Eglon. But he devoted it, and all the souls that were therein. And Yehoshua returned, and all Israel with him, to Debir, and fought against it. And he took it, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and devoted all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining. As he had done to Hebron, so he did to Debir, and to the king thereof, as he had done also to Libnah, and to the king thereof. So Yehoshua smote all the land, the hill country, and the south, and the lowland, and the slopes, and all their kings. He left none remaining, but he devoted all the breath of life, as Yahweh the God of Israel commanded. And Yehoshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea even to Gaza, and all the country of Goshen, even to Gabaon. And all these kings and their land did Yehoshua take at one time, because Yahweh the God of Israel fought for Israel. And Yehoshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp, to the Gilgal.